Good morning, students. Welcome to your English literature class. In our previous session, we did detailed summary and themes of the story, The Sound Machine. Now, today, we are going to discuss the setting of the story and we'll begin with the reading of the chapter. So, children, open your workbook on Echoes at page number 156. The objectives of today's session are, by the end of this session, you will be able to understand the meanings of the difficult words used in the context of the story, the related literary devices, the setting of the story in conformity with its title and plot, and about the protagonist's workplace. So, let's begin with the setting of the story. The setting of the story, obviously the sound machine, is in conformity with its title and its plot. So children, write down the meanings of the difficult words first. Word is conformity. Meaning is accordance or suitable. So the setting of the story is very much in accordance with its title and its plot. The sound machine is the story of an amateur scientist, Klausner, who is obsessed with sounds and wants to capture the sounds which are inaudible to the human ear. So children, we have already read the summary. The Sound Machine is the story of a non-professional scientist, Klausner, who is very much obsessed with sounds and wants to register the sounds which are not audible to the human ear. That is why Klausner's laboratory is located in a secluded wooden shed at the back of his house. Write down the meaning of word secluded. Meaning is lonely. This is the reason Klausner's laboratory was located in a lonely wooden shed at the back of his house. The interior of the shed is an unpainted room having a long wooden workbench, and on this bench lies a black box about 3 feet long, shaped like a child's coffin, which is actually the device invented by Klausner, that is the sound machine. So actually that room is an unpainted room. Means it's not painted properly, and that room has a long wooden workbench, and on the workbench lies a black box which is about 3 feet long, and its shape is just like a child's coffin. Coffin means where we keep a dead body of a child. So, and this box which looks like a child's coffin is actually the device sound machine invented by Klausner. Now this box looks like this. So next, besides, there are wires, batteries and small sharp tools which are ideal for creating the workplace of a scientist. So here you can see there are wires, batteries, some tools. So all these things create the workplace of a scientist. Here we are talking about Klausner. Since the main purpose of Klausner is to capture those high-pitched sounds which are inaudible to human ear. So the main motive of Klausner is to only register or capture the high-pitched sounds which are not audible to the human ear. The other place mentioned is his garden at the back of his house, an open space ideal for listening to the sounds. So one place we have talked about his laboratory, right? The other place, children, is mentioned here in this story is his garden, which was located at the back of his house, and that garden was actually an open space which was rather an ideal place for listening to the sounds. So it is here in the garden that Klausner first hears the shrieking sound made by the stem of a rose plant when his neighbor Mrs. Saunders plucks rose flowers. And it is here only, in the same garden, where Klausner first hears the shrieking sound, shrieking made by the stem of a rose plant when his neighbor Mrs. Saunders plucks rose flowers. The third place mentioned in the story is a park. Now children, the third place which is mentioned in the story is a park, where Klausner takes his sound machine to test his usefulness. Means where the Klausner takes his sound machine to test its usefulness or to prove his theory. And it is in this park that Klausner hears the shrieking sound made by the tree when he hits it with an axe. So in the park only, where Klausner hears the shrieking sound made by the tree when he hits the tree or at the trunk of the tree with an axe. Next, to prove his discovery, he calls Dr. Scott in the park and gives a second blow on the trunk of the tree. So, to prove his theory, he immediately calls Dr. Scott, who is his physician and his good friend, in the park, and again gives a second blow on the trunk of the tree. So children, why does he give the second blow on the trunk of the tree? Because he wants to prove his theory to Dr. Scott. So this time a branch falls from the tree and destroys the sound machine. This time what happened? A branch fell from the tree and destroyed the sound machine. Thus the story begins and ends with the sound machine. The time chosen for the action in the story is also appropriate. That is, in a summer evening, at night and early morning 6 a.m. when there is a comparatively less noise than the rest of the day. Sounds which are otherwise inaudible to human ear can be heard in the evening, night and early morning. It is said that the time chosen for this action is also appropriate because this is the time when the inaudible sounds are audible to the human ear. So with this, the setting of the story ends up. So now children, let's begin with the reading of the chapter. So open your Echoes textbook at page number 99. Now let's begin with the reading. Chapter The Sound Machine. It was a warm summer evening, and Klausner walked quickly through the front gate and around the side of the house and into the garden at the back. So children, actually this story, The Sound Machine, is told in the third person by the narrator. So the entire story is presented from the point of view of Klausner, who is an unprofessional scientist. So it is said, on a warm summer evening, Klausner went into a shed in his garden at the back of his house. He went on down the garden until he came to a wooden shed, and he unlocked the door, went inside and closed the door behind him. The interior of the shed was an unpainted room. Means he opened the door, went inside and closed the door. The interior of that shed was an unpainted room. And here children will come to know about the description of the shed, which was actually Klausner's workplace, right, where he used to work. So against one wall on the left there was a long wooden workbench, and on it, among a littering of wires and batteries and small sharp tools, there stood a black box about 3 feet long, the shape of a child's coffin. Now children, write down the meanings of the difficult words. First word is littering. meaning is spread untidily. Next is coffin, meaning is a box in which a dead body of a child is buried. So now children, actually child's coffin, a black box, right, which was is actually sound machine. So that black box is compared to a child's coffin. So we have a literary device here is metaphor, means black box is compared to coffin, and here box and coffin is visual imagery. Now what is visual imagery? We have already discussed it many times. The device related to sense of sight. So now we are talking about the description of Klausner's workplace, means shed. So in the shed, on the left side of the wall, there was a wooden workbench and a black box 3 feet long that looks like a child's coffin was lying among the wires, batteries and small sharp tools. So here children, we have one more literary device, foreshadowing. So what is foreshadowing? Actually, it is a device used by the author to give the reader an inkling of some impending disaster. Now inkling means hint and impending means coming. So foreshadowing means here actually through this figure of speech, or through this, like he has used the word black box, he has compared the black box to the child's coffin. So it means the author is giving us a hint of some coming disaster. The design of the machine in the form of a child's coffin is an indicative of some evil happening in the story. As we have already discussed, the black box means a sound machine was compared to a child's coffin, means coffin is an indication of some evil happening in the story, means something evil is going to happen in the story. The color black, as the color of the box is black, so the color black is associated with darkness, evil and death. Thus it is justified when the machine is smashed, and the same thing, the evil is justified when the sound machine is destroyed at the end. Klausner moved across the room to the box. The top of the box was open and he bent down and began to poke and peer inside it among a mass of different colored wires and silver tubes. Now first we discuss the meanings. Poke, meaning is push in a particular direction. Next is peer, meaning is to look curiously. So now what happens, children? Klausner went to the box. The box was open. He began to look inside the box among a group of different colored wires and silver tubes. He picked up a piece of paper that lay beside the box, studied it carefully, put it down, peered inside the box, and started tugging gently at them to test the connections, glancing back at the paper, then into the box, then at the paper again, checking each wire. He did this for perhaps an hour. Let us discuss the difficult words of this paragraph. Running his fingers along the wires. We have tactile imagery. Imagery is related to touch. Tugging means pulling hard. Next is glancing. Meaning is looking at something quickly. Next is glancing back at the paper. Here we have visual imagery. related to sight. Klausner started his work on the box by taking a piece of paper which was lying beside the box and studied it very carefully. Then he checked the connection of the wires and referred to the paper. Maybe, children, he had written something on the paper. This was the reason he was checking the connection of the wires and referring to the paper on and off. Means again. And this went on for about an hour. Then he put a hand around to the front of the box where there were 3 dials and he began to twiddle them, watching at the same time the movement of the mechanism inside the box. Now we discuss the word meanings first. Word is twiddle. Meaning is turn nervously. Next is mechanism. Meaning is mechanical operation of the machine. So children, what did Klausner do? Klausner put his hand around to the front of the box where there were 3 dials. Then he began to turn them, and at the same time he was also watching the movement of the machine inside the box. All the while he kept speaking softly to himself, nodding his head, smiling sometimes, his hands always moving, the fingers moving swiftly inside the box, his mouth twisting into curious shapes when a thing was delicate or difficult to do, saying, "Yes, yes, and now this one, yes, yes." So here children, we discuss the word meanings. Fingers moving swiftly. We have a figure of speech here is tactile imagery. Imagery related to touch. Next word is deftly. Meaning is skillfully. Next word we have delicate. Meaning is soft. While working, he was talking to himself, nodding his head, and of course smiling sometimes. His hands and fingers were moving in the box as if he finds something difficult. Then he says, "Yes, yes, this is." And he was very much focused towards his work. But is this right? Is it? Where's my diagram? Ah, yes. Of course. Yes, yes. That's right. And now. Good, good. Yes, 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 yes. So first we discuss the word meanings and figure of speech. Diagram. We have figure of speech as visual imagery. Imagery related to sight. Next word is intense. Meaning is very strong. Next word is suppressed. Meaning is held back. So children, while working, Klausner was talking to himself. Fine. And whenever he finds something difficult, he says, "Yes, yes, this is." Means all these things show that he was very much focused towards his work. His movements were quick. There was an air of urgency about the way he worked, of breathlessness, of strong suppressed excitement. Means now urgency, breathlessness, and suppressed excitement. These words show his nervousness. How much nervous he was when he was working on his machine. Suddenly, he heard footsteps on the gravel path outside, and he straightened and turned swiftly as the door opened and a tall man came in. It was Scott. It was only Scott, the doctor. Write the difficult word and its meaning. Gravel path means path made with stones. Now, children, as he was working in his laboratory, suddenly he heard footsteps outside. He turned fast and opened the door. A tall man entered, and it was Dr. Scott, physician and a very good friend of Klausner. Well, well, the doctor said. So, this is where you hide yourself in the evenings. So, when the doctor entered, he told Klausner, it means that this is the place where you hide yourself in the evenings. Hello, Scott, Klausner said. I happened to be passing. The doctor told him. So I dropped in to see how you were. Difficult word is dropped in. Meaning is came here. So Dr. Scott said, I was passing from here, from this side. So I came here to see your condition. There was no one in the house. So I came on down here. How's that throat of yours been behaving? So the doctor said, there was nobody else in the house. So I came on down straightway here to your workplace. Now please tell me, how is your throat behaving? It's all right. It's fine. Now I am here. I might as well have a look at it. The doctor said, now if I have come here, then I would have a look at your throat. Means if I have come here, then I will examine your throat. How is it? Please, don't trouble. I am quite cured. I am fine. So Klausner said, don't interrupt me. Don't trouble me. I am quite cured means I am well. I am fine. The doctor began to feel the tension in the room. He looked at the black box on the bench. Then he looked at the man. You have got your hat on, he said. The doctor felt something tensed in the laboratory. Means the doctor sensed a tension there. So he looked at the black box and then he looked at the man. Man means Klausner. Then he noticed that Klausner had still his hat on despite being indoors. So, oh, have I? Klausner reached up, removed the hat and put it on the bench. So he remembered that he was wearing the hat. So immediately what did he do? He removed the hat and put it on his workbench. The doctor came up closer and bent down to look into the box. What's this? He said. Making a radio? So children, radio, we have figure of speech is visual imagery. Fine. So now, as the doctor had already seen a black box lying on the table, so he is very much curious to know that actually what the black box is. So he asked Klausner if he was making a radio. No, just fooling around. Fooling around, children, means to spend time aimlessly. So Klausner said, no, I am just spending time aimlessly. It's got rather complicated looking innards. Complicated meaning is difficult to analyze. Innards meaning is inner parts of machine. Now at this, Dr. Scott said, it's very complicated, frightening looking innards. At this, Klausner said, yes. Klausner seemed tense and distracted. And at this time, Klausner seemed very much tensed and distracted. So, in that condition only, he said, yes. What is it? The doctor asked. It's rather a frightening looking thing, isn't it? Now, again, the doctor asked, as he was very much curious and not satisfied with Klausner's reply, so he insisted on knowing about that black box more. It's just an idea. So Klausner said, it is just an idea. Yes. It has to do with sound, that's all. So Klausner said, it is nothing else. It has to do with sound. Good heavens, man. Don't you get enough of that sort of thing all day in your work? So here, Dr. Scott said, good heavens, don't you get anything else except this in your work? Now at this, Klausner said, I like sound because I like sounds. So it seems the doctor went to the door, turned and said, well, I won't disturb you. Glad your throat's not worrying you anymore. But he kept standing there, looking at the box by the remarkable complexity of its inside to know what this strange patient of his was up to. What is it really for? He asked. You have made me inquisitive. So children, write down the meanings first of the difficult words. Word is intrigued. Meaning is attracted. Next word is curious. Meaning is eager. Next is inquisitive. Meaning is curious. So the doctor understood. So he went to the door and he turned and he said, I won't disturb you. I am very happy that your throat is now not bothering you. But the doctor kept standing there. He was continuously looking at the box as he was very curious to know actually what was there in the box and what his patient wants to do with that black box. So he asked, what is it? You have made me more curious. Klausner looked down at the box, then at the doctor, and he reached up and began gently to scratch the lobe of his right ear. There was a pause. The doctor stood by the door, waiting, smiling. So at this, Klausner looked down at the box and then he looked at the doctor. Then he gently scratched the lobe of his right ear, and there was a pause for some time. And by the time the doctor was standing there at the door, waiting and smiling. All right, I'll tell you if you are interested. So reluctantly, Klausner agreed to tell Dr. Scott what he was working on. There was another pause, and the doctor could see that Klausner was having trouble about how to begin, and Dr. Scott and Klausner was having trouble about how to start. He was shifting from one foot to the other, tugging at the lobe of his ear, looking at his feet, and then at last, slowly, he said, well, it's like this. The theory is very simple really. Children, note down the meaning of tugging. Pulling hard. So, Klausner was shifting from one foot to the other, tugging at the lobe of his ear, looking at his feet. It shows that Klausner was having some trouble about how to start. So he mentioned that the theory is very simple. The human ear, you know that it can't hear everything. So Klausner started. The human ear can't hear everything, especially There are sounds that are so low pitched or so high pitched that it can't hear them. So, first of all, figure of speech, low pitched or so pitched. We have auditory imagery. Auditory imagery is related to listening. So, Klausner mentioned that the theory is very simple. The human ear can't hear everything, especially the sounds that are either high pitched or low pitched. Yes, the doctor said. Yes. Well, speaking very roughly, any note so high that it has more than 15,000. So the doctor agreed when Klausner tells him that the human ear is unable to hear the sounds which are high pitched or low pitched. So, children, note, we have auditory imagery. So, he says more than 15,000 vibrations a second means the human ear cannot hear more than 15,000 vibrations a second. So, here he says dogs have better ears than us. You know, you can buy a whistle whose note is so high pitched that you can't hear it at all, but a dog can hear it. Yes, I have seen one, the doctor said. So here, Klausner gives the example of a dog who is able to hear the sound of a high pitched whistle. And this is the sound of the whistle that humans cannot hear, but the dogs can hear the sound of a high pitched whistle. At this, the doctor said, yes, I have seen one. So the doctor said, yes, he had already seen one. So students, I hope you all have understood the text which is given on the pages 99, 100 and 101. Plan pages 102, 103 and 104. Thank you.